Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, sports lovers all over the world.
The best part of Sports Bang is here.
Yes, it is. Thursday morning.
Yeah, good morning, Chacha.
Hi, Blessing. Good morning
Good
to
morning,
you.
yeah.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You look cheerful.
Yeah, the smiles are still there.
Yes.
I didn't
Thanks
shake
God.
it this morning.
It's like the sugar is reducing. Small,
Yeah, it's
small.
reducing.
Well, until they now remove subsidy, we'll now go back to seeing the
Another
sugar.
shege.
But for now, we give glory to God.
Hallelujah.
That's nice. All right, so what's big in sports today?
Okay, the biggest story this morning, apart from it's for Mighty's birthday today.
Oh, wow. He
that's a
shares
big
a
deal.
birthday with someone who's very dear to me.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay,
Oh, my goodness.
Mighty, you have to pay for that. Okay, that's
Happy
a big
birthday.
deal. That's a big deal for us this
Wow.
morning. So happy birthday for Mighty. I had to, get that out of the way first and foremost. And yes, the biggest story has to be about Chelsea. They've been in the news for the past 2-3 weeks or thereabouts since they sacked their coach, Graham Potter. And, it's been questions about who gets to take over. They had someone in the interim, but now we heard news about Julian Nagelsmann also being in contention for the job. Luis Enrique is also in contention for the job. In fact, Enrique was in London as of yesterday to discuss, to continue discussions. They're having discussions with a lot of people, yeah. So they can narrow down their search and pick who they think fits into their ideologies, fits into their values and all of those. But late last night, the news came through that Chelsea were going to be getting someone in the interim. And he happened to be an ex-manager, happens to be a legend of the club. I'm talking about Frank Lampard.
He's in there, but this is like thunder striking twice in the same place.
Well, until the result is the result for over the next few months, then you can perhaps say maybe it was thunder striking twice in the same spot or not. But Frank Lampard is back. Of course, he's not been officially announced yet, but according to reports, very, very close to being announced. Yesterday on Just About, I was saying that I thought that they should perhaps have held on to Potter a bit until the end of the season. We have about 2 months. Okay, the season is finishing next month, so let's say about 2 months to the end of the season. Between now and when the season ends, I thought perhaps they could have held on to him for a bit. Continued their discussions with other managers on the side. Of course, you must have had a discussion with Graham Potter to know that, you know what, you're leaving at the end of the season, we're done with you, but you can start taking applications, having interviews and there. Just hold on to that man until the end of the season, because I'm wondering which top manager would want to take up a club in the middle of a crisis. The people they're actually speaking to, they don't have jobs at the moment, so they could want to leave. But many of them also want to be careful. They looked at their CV and don't want to take up a team in a crisis at the middle of the season.
Yeah.
And I thought perhaps someone in the interim, just hold him on to the end of the season, and then you get somebody who starts with them afresh. And only for... apparently, it's like they listened to me, although it wasn't the option that I had in mind. But Frank Lampard will be, all things being equal, by maybe today, announcement tomorrow, should be interim coach.
I'm curious as to what their arguments for bringing him back under what's the argument for
me?
Frank
I think it was a safe choice. It was trying to be on the safe side. I'm saying that because Lampard knows the club, is a legend of the club, highest goal scorer in the history of the club.
But they sacked him at some point.
Yeah, of course, it's business. If you're not delivering, you've got to go at some point. You're not going to hold on to someone because he knows the club so well, he's a legend of the club, and then he keeps plunging the club deeper and deeper into troubles. So I can understand sacking him at that point, but bringing him back also feels logical. It feels sane. It's just to the end of the season. Like I said yesterday, I don't think there's anything more for Chelsea to attain to, or to want to achieve again, because look at it, they are currently ranked 11, 22. Did I say 22 points? Lots of points away from the top four. They are in the Champions League. They're playing against Real Madrid, which is a tough nut to crack on its own. So I thought just someone to hold on, to steady the ship for a bit till you can get somebody who will go long term. So the choice of Lampard, I thought it was sensible.
So what are the likely chances that after the season is over, arguments will be like, we can keep this guy?
No. They're already in discussions. They're already in discussions with people that they want to take over.
So no chance at all that could happen.
I think Chelsea once beaten perhaps might be twice shy in that regard.
Okay.
Going by what they saw from the first thing, but I don't think they want to hang on to him, because even Lampard was just sacked at Everton a couple of weeks or months ago. So you have to be careful getting that person back.
He must be a very lucky person. At least he's his angels or his guardian angels are looking over him.
The jury is out on English managers generally. The jury is out on them on how they have usually overhyped and underachievers, as the case may be. So yeah.
Oh, well. That's good luck to him this time around.
Okay, good luck to Frank Lampard indeed. What do you think of Frank Lampard, and is the potential announcement of Frank Lampard as the interim coach at Chelsea until the end of the season? I know Chelsea fans have been, they have their hands up in the air and wondering, what exactly is this? What is the meaning of this? Why do we go from Potter to return to Frank Lampard? Well, I mean, it's just in the interim, just till the end of the season. What do you make of that choice? We're live on our Facebook fan page this morning where we're streaming. You can find us there to drop your comments. Let's have your thoughts. Let me know what you think about that. And lots to discuss on Sports Bank this morning. I'm just going to dive right into it. Take a break from football, return to football in a bit, but starting with other sports here. From the world of golf, five-time champion Tiger Woods says he cannot be discounted as a Masters contender, even if his mobility is not where he would like it to be. Only Jack Nicklaus has won more green jackets than Woods, who produced one of the sport's great comebacks to win in 2019 after overcoming a back surgery. Woods finished 47th last year as he returned to competitive golf 14 months after a high-speed car crash. And he was speaking at the press conference yesterday where he said, whether I am a threat or not, who knows? Probably people probably think that I was a threat in 2019. People probably didn't think that I was a threat in 2019 either, but that turned out okay. Prior to my back fusion, I didn't know that I was ever going to play the game at any kind of level. I was able to do that and come back and play, and I happened to win a major along the way. And with the accident, it has been a tough road. The words of Tiger Woods there, speaking at the press conference yesterday, of course, is silently saying, don't count me out. I may not be a major contender. I wasn't a major contender in 2019, but I still won a green jacket. Perhaps you shouldn't count me out. That's how I, interpret his words there. But it says he doesn't know how many more he has in him before he calls it quits officially with the world of golf. I mean, whatever time we still have left with Tiger Woods, we definitely are going to savor that one. And moving on away from golf to the NBA. We are in the final week of regular season right there in the NBA, and the Milwaukee Bucks wrapped up overall top seed in the NBA with a victory over Chicago Bulls. They secured 105-92 victory over the Bulls in the early hours of this morning. In other results, we have the Brooklyn Nets defeating Detroit Pistons 123-108. The New York Knicks recorded a victory over Indiana Pacers. The Knicks have already qualified. They've made it to the playoffs of the NBA. Washington Wizards, they lost to Atlanta Hawks already. They are out of, speaking of Wizards, they're out of playing contention, and Atlanta Hawks already sealed a playing berth as well. That's in the Eastern Conference. And Toronto Raptors lost to Boston Celtics. Memphis Grizzlies lost by 7 points to New Orleans Pelicans. Pelicans are one of those teams in the Western Conference who are vying for a playing tournament. I mean, it's not, the Western Conference is going to be until the very last day. That is the competition that's so fierce right there in the Western Conference. Sacramento Kings already punched their ticket to the playoff. They lost to Dallas Mavericks, who are also trying to find a way back into play-in. I mean, imagine having the duo of Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. You'd expect them to be, punching and challenging for, whatever is available in terms of titles and trophies. But hey, it hasn't been good since Kyrie Irving made the switch to Dallas Mavericks. They're out of playing contention at the moment, but they still could have a chance to go back in, depending on them winning the rest of their games and also hoping that the other games go their way. And in the big game of the night, or of this morning, it's Los Angeles Lakers going away to the Clippers. Let's talk about the LA Derby. And the Lakers lost 118-125. Norman Powell scored 27 points. Kawhi Leonard added 25 as the Clippers improved their playoff seeding chances with a 125-118 victory over LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. It was the Clippers' 11th straight victory over their Crypto Arena hallmates, pulling them into a tie with Idle Golden State for 5th in the West at 42-38. The Lakers, they have surprised me this season since the trade deadline. They have really, revamped their season, sold out, traded some players away. They traded Russell Westbrook away, traded Pat Bev away, and they were able to bring in players who fit into what they are trying to build this season. Malik Beasley, for example, is one of those players, and look at them. At the point they were even out of play-in, but now they are looking at a chance to seal playoff eventually. That's if they get to win the rest of their 2 games for the season, and also expecting the other results to go their way as well. I mean, it's going to be photo finish right there in the Western Conference of the NBA. And moving on on away from there, let's talk about football now. But starting from the home scene, I should say, as this one's about Nigeria. That's the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Remember, they're getting ready for the friendly games coming on in Turkey. And star forwards Aizat Oshola and Desire Okparanozie have both arrived in the camp of the Nigerian senior women's national team Super Falcons ahead of their 2-game friendly in the Turkish city of Antalya. Serie A award winner Oshola has not played for the 9-time African champions since the Women African Cup of Nations finals in Morocco 9 months ago, while brainstorming forward Okparanozie is linking up with the squad for the first time since the Aisha Buhari Cup tournament in Lagos back in September 2021. So it's full camp already. We're still expecting Michelle Alozie and the forward Jennifer Echegini, Uchenna Kanu, all of them based in the United States. They're all still being expected as at last night, and we hope that they can join up with the camp as soon as possible. We have a game against Haiti tomorrow, and then on Tuesday we have a game against the co-host of the World Cup, that's New Zealand. All of those games right there in Turkey. And the coach of the Falcons, Randy Waldrum, has been speaking with FIFA.com. It says that it's going to be very, very honest that it is scary. That's the group group pairing that the Super Falcons have going into the World Cup. It says it's very, very scary. Our first 2 games are brutal. The words of Randy Waldrum says many people have our group ranked as the hardest in the World Cup. The other 3 are all ranked in the top 25 in the world. They all pose different kind of problems. And seeing the way, end of quote, the words of Randy Waldrum, but seeing the way our preparation has been the past, a few games, I'm not so confident going into the World Cup. But I hope that we can turn our season around, because it's never late, like they say. And before we go on a very quick break this morning, CAF Confederations Cup draw. Rivers United, their path to the knockout stages of the Confederations Cup has been drawn, and now they will face the Young Africans of Tanzania in the quarterfinals, and a potential clash against either of the Pyramids of Egypt or Marumo Gallants of South Africa in the semi-final. I mean, a tie against Young Africans, for me, I think is a good draw. And the first leg will be held in Nigeria here, either in Port Harcourt or in Uyo on the 23rd of April. And Rivers goalkeeper Victor Sochima has expressed confidence in the ability of the team to progress in the competition. All the best to them. It's the first time the Rivers United will be playing at this stage of the competition in the CAF Confederations Cup. And I hope that they can make this, it's an historic moment, really. First time they're playing there in their history. We hope that they can count for something at the end of the day. Very quick commercial break. Remember, we're live on Facebook, and I'd like to know what you think about Frank Lampard returning to Chelsea as interim manager until the end of the season. Find us on Facebook and leave your comments. After this break, we'll continue with Sports Bang.
Splash FM 105.5.
When I wake up in the morning, I need something to help me start my day. Pick 4, 5, 6 has DHA. It helps my brain to grow. It helps me to be smart. Oh, my own milk, pick 4, 5, 6, yeah.
Ìyá ọlọ́gbọ́n. Èwo lẹ̀ ń ṣe?
Mo ń ṣe oúnjẹ òwúrọ̀ pẹ̀lú mílìkì ìdàgbàsókè PIC 456.
Oúnjẹ òwúrọ̀ pẹ̀lú mílìkì ìdàgbàsókè PIC 456 kẹ̀.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ó ní àlékún DHA, èyí tó ń ṣe àtìlẹ́yìn ìdàgbàsókè ọpọlọ tó jí pépé. Bákan náà ló tún ní káṣíọ̀mù, fítámìn D àti onígá ńlá protein láti mú àwọn ọmọ rẹ dàgbà kí wọ́n sì lágbára.
Mo fẹ́ràn ẹ̀. Màá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní fi mílìkì ìdàgbàsókè PIC 456 tó ní àlékún DHA, èyí tó ń ṣàtìlẹ́yìn ìdàgbàsókè ọpọlọ tó jí pépé fi kún àwọn èròjà ìṣaralóore fún àwọn ọmọ mi.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Dàgbà kó lágbára kó sì jáfáfá pẹ̀lú mílìkì ìdàgbàsókè PIC 456 lójoojúmọ́.
Ìfẹ́ mi, ẹni lọ́jọ́ ìfúnni lábẹ́rẹ́ wa. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, pẹ̀lú abẹ́rẹ́ aládàágún fún ìdáàbòbò ara ẹni yìí, a lè ṣeré ìfẹ́ fóṣù 3 láìsí fòyòyún àìròtẹ́lẹ̀.
Bí báwo?
Máa fa ẹran itan mi, máa sì gábẹ́rẹ́ yìí sórí itan tí mo fà. Káde máa gbádùn ara wa lọ fóṣù 3 nìyẹn.
Abẹ́rẹ́ kẹ̀, ṣé èèyàn wà nínú ẹ̀?
Kò séwu ìfẹ́ mi, abẹ́rẹ́ tíntínní ni bí eléyìí.
Àkíkà, ó ti gún kódà ó mìíràn rárá.
Ṣé bí mo sọ fún ẹ?
Bó o bá fẹ́ lábẹ́rẹ́ aládàágún fúngbà àkọ́kọ́, lọ́dọ̀ ṣiṣẹ́ ìlera fúngbà níyànjú. Fàlàyé nípa àwọn ọ̀nà mìíràn láti bọ́ lọ́wọ́ oyún àìròtẹ́lẹ̀. Tẹ ẹ̀rìn èjì ọ̀kan lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́ lórí Airtel. Kó o dẹ̀ tẹ ọgbọ̀n tàbí kó o lọ sórí ẹ̀rọ ayélujára discoveryourpower.org. Ìpolówó yìí wá látọwọ́ àwọn ẹgbẹ́ tó ń bójútó ìlera ẹbí, Society for Family Health, pẹ̀lú iléeṣẹ́ ìjọba àpapọ̀ tó ń bójútó ètò ìlera.
So special to us, golden morn. So special to us. I can't afford a day without energy to make it stay golden. Golden Morn, so special to us.
My baby is 6 months old.
Oh my! 6 months old? Wow! Now your baby needs more than breast milk. It's time to introduce mashed meals. In addition to breast milk, begin to give your baby mashed meals that contain at least one item from each of these 5 food groups: eggs, fish or meat, fruits and vegetables, oils, beans, groundnuts, soya or millet, rice, potato, maize or yam. From 6 months. In addition to breast milk, your baby needs this combination of food types to grow healthy. This message is from the Anrin Project or your state's Ministry of Health.
Splash FM 105.5.
Okay, welcome back from that break, and moving on the show, still talking football from the European side of things now, but from Spain. The El Clasico yesterday in the Copa del Rey was Real Madrid who had a point to prove, and that point they proved with a 4-0 smashing of Barcelona right there at Camp Nou. 4-1 on aggregate ended, and that meant that Real Madrid are now into the finals of the Copa del Rey, and Karim Benzema scored a second-half hat-trick there at ensuring that Real Madrid could finally ban the ghost of Barcelona. I mean, it's been trashing upon trashing for Real Madrid at the end of Barcelona this season, but sometimes you got to make a statement and turn things around, and that's exactly what they did. The Carlo Ancelotti side will face Osasuna in the finals on the 6th of May. And in the French Coupe de France, Nantes defeated Lyon by a goal to nil. Super Eagles forward Moses Simon was an unused substitute in that game as Nantes won, qualified to this year's final of the French Cup. And they also featured in last year's final where they edged OGC Nice by a goal to nil to land their 4th French Cup title. They are on course yet again to continue with that. And in the Premier League last night, Manchester United 1-0 they won over Brentford, and Erik ten Hag says it's the truth that Manchester United are too reliant on goals for Marcus Rashford after Rashford hit the winner against Brentford in that game. And only Napoli's Victor Osimhen has had more league goals in Europe's top 5 leagues since the World Cup than Rashford, who has scored 10 winners in the Premier League this season, the most by a Manchester United player in a campaign since Wayne Rooney in the 2009-2010 season. We also had West Ham and Newcastle. I mean, it was such a humiliating defeat for West Ham. 5-1, Newcastle won, and David Moyes is asking for time. He says, as a manager, you always have to front up. I'm a big boy. I've left other jobs in times past. If that happens, I'll have to go with that. But I really like my job here. I've enjoyed my time here greatly, and I hope we have a couple of big days ahead in the future. He's begging for time practically because he was booed off at full time. They lost at home 5-1 to Newcastle United. Like I said earlier on, Frank Lampard is set to be named the interim manager at Chelsea until the end of the season. What do you make of that? When we return from this break with our partners at the BBC, I'll take a comment on Facebook. We'll be back.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Hello, I'm Richard Newman at the BBC Sports Centre. Manchester United are back in the Premier League's top 4 after beating Brentford 1-0 at Old Trafford. Marcus Rashford scored the only goal of the game. The United manager Erik ten Hag says the result means a lot.
A massive win, especially over Brentford, because I said before the game I admire them. They play against top teams in the Premier League and they beat them all, or they get draws, they get results. So it's difficult to play against them and to beat them. We did, so I'm really happy and I'm really proud of my team today.
Newcastle in third, thrash struggling West Ham 5-1 away from home to put more pressure on their boss David Moyes. Frank Lampard is closing in on a surprise return to Chelsea as manager until the end of the season. It's just over 2 years since the club legend was sacked under the previous owner Roman Abramovich. Lampard was dismissed by Everton in January. Julian Nagelsmann and Luis Enrique are among the head coaches rumoured to be of interest on a longer term basis. Meanwhile, Nottingham Forest say Steve Cooper remains their manager. The club released a statement on Wednesday after Forest's loss at Leeds left them just one place above the Premier League's relegation zone. More details from Maz Faruqi.
Read into this what you will, but the club's owner, Evangelos Marinakis, says he wants to end false and disruptive reporting about Cooper's future. He says Forest's manager remains in charge, but admits that results and performances must improve immediately. Pretty much all the teams scrapping at the bottom of the Premier League, apart from Forest and West Ham, have changed manager this season to try and turn around their form. And that's another reason, I think, why the speculation around Steve Cooper has continued to mount. After defeat at Leeds, they are now only out of the bottom three on goal difference.
And for more football news from the BBC, go to bbc.com/football.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Okay, welcome back, and let's head straight to Facebook this morning. What are you saying? Frank Lampard set to be named interim manager at Chelsea until the end of the season. Adeleke Victor Oluwase Ifumi says, good morning. I like what Chelsea is doing. Last, they will relegate. Okay, thank you. Ayodele Abiodun says, Lampard is not bad, but he should just control his ego and manage the dressing room well. Thank you very much. Ayobami George Agolo says, it shouldn't have been Frank Lampard. Todd and his board just wants to run this team into perdition. Why wasn't the likes of Gus Hiddink or an Avram Grant considered? Lampard is bad news. Is Avram Grant any better than Frank Lampard? Well, I'm just saying, the man was once there at Chelsea. What was his result like? Anyway, thank you for sending in your comments. Ola saying there, B. Balainka says he's watching us from Gbagi area in Ibadan. Thank you very much. And this is from Danjuma Fagwam Darim says, good morning, Blessing. Let Chelsea try Lampard and see if he can bring something to the table. We have suffered under Potter. Okay. That's from Danjuma anyway. Ajibaki Abiodun says, just like your discussion yesterday with Femi, Chelsea needs a sound coach like Luis Enrique or Zinedine Zidane as a manager. My regards to the backroom staff. Okay, thank you very much. Abian Falaye says, Real Madrid is a leader of our time. Let others follow them. Where are you on the table in the La Liga again? I'm just asking. Okay, Tyson Josh Timothy says, good morning, Blessing. Boyle is really confused at the moment. Why sacking Potter now and appoint Lampard? Remember, it is just in interim capacity. He says he's always doing the wrong things at the wrong time. Just hope that Lampard will miraculously turn things around before the end of the season. Thank you very much. And of course, we have the birthday boy watching us live on Facebook this morning. I'm talking about Femaiti Akinsho Oluwafemi. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Femaiti. I mean, we've only worked together for a few months now, and hey, I can't say I've really enjoyed every moment of working with you. Perhaps I could just dedicate a song to you before I leave this morning. And I mean, just me saying happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Femaiti. I wish you long life and prosperity. And before we leave today, talk about all the games coming up today. We have in the Finalissima, England will be taking on Brazil. That's women's football. Now, it's the first time we're having the Finalissima being played. And after lifting the European Championship trophy at Wembley last summer, England will have a chance to win another title, quote and unquote for me, another title there in front of a sold-out crowd at their national stadium. This week rather, at the coach of the English, the women's team, Serena Vejman says, it's a great. It says it's a great occasion, but because there will be about 90,000 people who will be watching the game. I think that's good for women's football. But hey, Finalissima. Anyway, it's we saw Finalissima last year between Argentina and Italy, with Argentina winning 3-0 at Wembley there. So it's the first time we'll be seeing this between women as well in the women's game. There are also international friendlies for women today. We have Poland against Costa Rica, Spain against Norway, and Wales against Northern Ireland. That's just some games to catch. It's international break for women's football, and that's why Nigeria will also be in action tomorrow against Haiti. So we have to leave on Sports Bank this morning. Again, happy birthday, Femaiti. Thank you very much for listening to us today. Join us again tomorrow, 7:30, same time, for Winning Friday edition of Sports Bank. My name is Blessing Fowowe. Okay, this is Who Is Your Guy, dedicated to Femaiti. Happy birthday. Au revoir.
Splash FM 105.5.
When I wake up in the morning,